Good morning, everybody. This is your boy DJ Arco.
And I am the queen, and you are tuned in the Boss Talk.
Today we have another one of our special guests from the skate community.
Mhm. From
He
the NYC.
from the NYC, a very essential worker, and we
Mhm.
appreciate everything that he does during this time. So, you want to go ahead and introduce my man Terry Davis? How you doing, my man?
Pretty good, pretty good. All is good. How you guys this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. See you out there working hard in New York right now.
Yeah, a little too hard. Too hard and no skating.
Well, hey, I don't know. Maybe you should take your skates to work and just roll the criminals on downtown.
That would make CNN. That would be
Yeah,
yes,
I know.
that would be on CNN. Anderson Cooper. There you go.
Yeah.
Bring a
Yeah,
little
I do plan before I retire to do that. I do want to do
Okay.
that.
Hey, all right, cool. So one of these days we'll see you on the news then, on
Yes,
CNN,
sir.
BBC, or CCD, one of the people. So now we actually spoke to you before, but a lot has changed. So we
Oh,
actually decided to go ahead and do everything over again with you. So we're gonna start off how we normally start off. So for everybody who's listening, if you're at home, I know you guys sometimes start wording it too because you guys hear it so much. So our signature question is, how long have you been skating?
I've been skating since I was a little kid. Let me see. I started probably in I thought about the year. I tried to think about the year. I didn't remember exactly, but it was somewhere around like 81, 82.
Uh-huh.
81, 82? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, do you remember your first time being in the rink?
Oh, yeah. Actually, my first time, something I forgot the last time, I started ice skating first.
Oh.
My mother started me ice skating about 6 months before roller skating. And then I went to the rink. My first roller skating rink was Bergenfield Roller Rink, Bergenfield, New Jersey. It was one of the classic rinks in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Loved it. She bought me a pair of skates. She bought me a pair of Chicago's from an old school sports store that's closed now. And I went on that floor, and I mean, I really didn't really get into it like that when I was younger. You know, I was just rolling around, and I would go to the birthday parties and stuff like that. And I learned all my, going forward, stopping, starting, turning around, and all that. And then I actually got bored, because the kids weren't. I was just like, okay, yada, 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 yada. And then I saw my brother skate years later. I kind of stopped skating. I would say it was like 12, 13, and I stopped for a long time. My brother, who retired from the military, he was stationed all over the place. He went into 78. He grew up in Brooklyn and skated at Empire. So he was nice. Bill Davis, Billy D. Matter of fact, I saw an interview. That's another thing. I was watching you guys' interviews.
Okay.
I love it.
All right now.
Love this channel. And I was watching Henry, my boy Henry.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry and my brother skated together back in the day. And they probably have to see each other because my brother stopped skating a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But in that time, he was rolling. So my brother, all back then, I never saw him skate. When I was about 18, about 16, he was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He said, "Oh, come down and visit." We've always been really, really close, me and my brother. So I went down there, and I saw him skate because he goes, "Can you skate?" I was like, "Yeah, I can skate." I can go forward, backward. I'm thinking I could like really skate. I saw him skate. I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Yeah."
I can't really skate.
Yeah, right. I got up there. I was like, "Okay." And then I said, "Okay, when I see you again, I'm gonna know how to skate. And then from there, I went back up to Bergenfield roller rink. And then I started going on the adult nights. Now, the Saturday nights there's a guy named DJ Mario, and there was a couple of big names used to DJ there. Well, the rink itself was very big because back in the day, like, you had the old school rap artists like LL Cool J, Salt and Pepper. You could be there every weekend hanging out.
Yeah.
So the Saturday nights were big. And I started going Saturday, and it was crazy. And it's funny. I met a guy named Chuck Goins. And from your interview with Quadzilla, with Mo, He mentioned Chuck Goins because Chuck don't skate anymore. He don't skate. But Chuck is one of those aliens. Chuck is bad, and that's the dude. That's like my skate sensei. That's the dude I learned.
Right
Skate
now.
sensei.
Yeah, that's one of my terms.
They need to make a T-shirt say "Skate Sensei"
I know.
on.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I got to do it. I got to do it. And it's so
Giving everybody ideas. You know what I'm saying? We're always giving everybody ideas. It's like we need to keep some of these ideas for ourselves.
Right? That T-shirt's gonna be back.
Skate Sensei.
yeah, man. Got to do it. Skate sensei. Yeah, that's an idea, man. But I tell you, man, that when I went over there and I saw him skate, there was a lot of great skaters there. But I was like, okay, I was like, bro, how do you do that? I was like, bro, yo. He said, okay. He said, yeah, he's a real cool dude. He's like, okay, first you gotta buy some skates. You're not gonna,
you ain't gonna do it in them Chicago's. That ain't gonna work.
Right? And then he was like, nah, you can't. I said, okay. So, and it's funny because still then, about a year, I was always like, I did a lot of house dancing and break dancing, which I still do. So I was still going to the clubs at those times. And the clubs were like industry clubs, like industry parties where a lot of people you see doing the videos, like back in the day, the Crystal Waters videos and all those people, I'd be dancing with them. And I was trying to keep up because they were really, really good. But I wound up getting decent and doing some competitions and all that.
You was out there break dancing turbo and ozone and
yes, sir. Hot block
Bust move. I don't believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need to see some videos of that. So we're gonna challenge you. We're gonna give you a challenge. We need you to send us a video of you doing a little break dance. And as a matter of fact, I want to see you do it with the broom, just like Buddy did. And then I'm gonna give you props.
I'm gonna rock out turbo style with the broom.
There you go.
But I tell you, man, those Bergenfield days, and see, I got the sleep in my eye. Jesus.
That's the boss talk first.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a pass because we know you've been working hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then the allergies hitting me too.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, and then my daughter got these flowers in the background. Flower
I know
power
all that
allergies.
pollen just jumping on you.
And yeah, but I tell you, that Bergenfield days are great. But it's funny when you were talking to Quadzilla, and it's funny, I've never met Mo in person, but I know who he is, and Chuck knows him. So, and he gave Chuck a shout out, and it's funny because Chuck, now that Enchanted movie, oh God, funny but sad story.
Yeah.
And man, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a couple things. They say never regret anything. There's a couple things I kick myself every time I think about it. Mm-hmm. There's a lady in New York, and her name is Lene Davis, no relation.
Yes.
But great skater, Central Park Association.
She's amazing.
Oh yeah. Amazing. Everyone in New York knows Lene, and all around. So she's very into entertainment, and stuff, and she works behind the scenes. She does stunt work and acting and all this, and of course roller skate videos and stuff like that. So she was calling people and that she thought would fit this thing, because she helps a lot of people out with this, with acting and roller skating and all that. So she calls me. She goes, "Terry, what you doing? I got this thing. It's gonna be, it should be good. It's gonna be a Disney thing, and this and that." And I was like, "Really?" I said, "Okay, I'm good. I'm ready." And you will not believe this. I had a car, and my car, I kind of hooked up my car a little bit, but it was an older car. It had a problem with the stereo system. So I had my skates in the trunk, always carry my skates in the trunk. We were going to my mother-in-law's house, me and my wife. And my daughter wasn't born then. And I hit a bump, right? Not a newer car, older car. And it messed up the sound system. So I had to go in the back, and I was like, oh man, took out everything, right? This is in Queens. Took out everything, got my whole trunk, got to the wire, fixed the wire. Okay, thought I put everything in, left my skates on the street. I was like, oh. When I got to the rink that night, I said, oh my God, my skates. I was like, no, my skates. You know how we are with our skates. I'm like, my skates. Man, I had to call Lene back. I'm like, Lene, I don't have any skates. She was like, no, you have to find your skates. I didn't. I wound up finding my skates like a week later, or a couple days
Where'd
later,
you find
because
them?
luckily there was a nice neighbor, because we were in a part of Queens that's very residential with houses and stuff. If it was the Bronx, or if it was in a part of Queens where the projects were, I would have seen
That'd have been it.
the next time. Yep, they'd be gone. The next time I would have saw my skates, some crackhead would have been skating on my skates. I'd have been like, let's keep on.
Hey, bruh,
Appreciate it.
these is cool.
And then even if I confronted the crackhead, it'd have been like, no, he's my skates. I'm like, okay.
While singing Roll Bounce.
Yeah. But I tell you that and then, I was like, oh my God. And then I called her back a couple days ago, but she was like, no, we filled it up. We got Roger G, we got Mo, we got all these people. And I was like, no.
Oh, man.
And then now, what's funny? I would say it was funny because I always kick myself, but I kind of got over it. I'm like, okay. But you never really get over something like that. It's like one of those.
Nah, you don't.
Those beautiful high school girlfriends or something like that. You break up, I'm like, oh my God, But let me tell you something. That day, I saw the movie and I'm like, okay, it's only like 5 minutes or whatever. That happens. You barely see everybody. I'm like, okay, I feel a little better now. Okay, and then I saw you guys interview.
Oh,
Open that wound right back up.
And what really hit me in the interview, and I called my boy Chuck to confirm this. What really hit me again and had me kicking myself was when Mo said, yeah, that was 28 days. I got paid $900 a day. What? Royalty checks. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, you don't understand. Me and my wife started arguing, and I was like, see, I should have done it.
Lord, we don't know domestic dispute.
My wife was like, yeah, but are they famous?
Anyway.
Yeah, right? Yeah, my wife was like, but are they famous now? But are they famous? I was like, I don't care. I just don't know how much they got paid. I was like, yo, that was a Disney movie. People are still getting paid from that. And they weren't even in the movie like 5 minutes. They are still getting paid. Because, right off the bat, I roughly did the math. I'm like, yo, that's somewhere around, maybe after taxes, maybe like 25. Oh my God, I forgot now. I did it. It was like almost $30,000 after the taxes. You would say $25,000, $26,000. I said, wait, whoa.
To roller skate. To roller skate. To do what you love. Because we all know Disney got some long money.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make it feel worse. That's almost had $25,000 for skating.
Let me tell you something. I called up. I was like, I called up my boy Chuck Goers, and I said, Chuck, I just watched this interview, and I said, first of all, Mo, he gave you a great shout out, and then I said, Chuck, how much? I just want to confront. I think we had the math wrong. I said, yo, man, how much did you get paid? He was like, dang, because let me tell you something. I got the first check. I bought me a car. I said, what?
Oh man.
I was like, what? I said, Chuck, wait, did you really get paid? Now he's like, yeah. He said, in fact, I got a royalty check last week. I was like, oh my God.
Man, still
man, I just that's one thing I kick myself for. I'm gonna go on to this other thing too in a minute. But that and then the experience of doing it. Oh, like Mo said, the people you work with Roger G, who actually I know, and he was a good friend of my buddy Eddie Campos, who died, who's another guy who taught me. And I'm gonna get to him in a minute. And the experience. Oh my God. So Chuck, because Chuck works a lot and this and that. Now, when we were in the rink in Bergenfield, right? It was the four of us that skated alike and we watched wrestling. So as when it comes to nicknames and stuff, I brought up the proposal. I said, yo, why don't we call ourselves the Four Horsemen? And we were like, yeah, because of wrestling, you know, and all that stuff. I was like, okay, yeah. So, but I always, like, they called me the enforcer because I always went out and skated. Like, you know, Drew, his nickname was Slice because he's a professional mixologist. He does these DMC competitions. He was like a 2-time United States champion. He's also a skate DJ. He remixes songs for TV shows and all that. He can skate. Ed, so he's never was there. He was at the rink, but you know, sometimes he would go do competition and stuff. Same thing with Eddie. Eddie Campos was a professional rollerblader. He may have known Mo. I don't know if they knew each other. Eddie had his own wheel. He did the X Games. One year in his division, he won his division. He was incredible. And there's a set of slides that people are doing right now in the skate world. Probably don't even know where they come from because, you know, this was like early 90s. Some of the kids then now were born back then. Right. And they're doing the slides now. And I love it because what happened was Eddie didn't even travel that much. But because I traveled, like I did a lot of the slides, I did some of the spins and all that stuff. And I really love, you know, that, you know, and this did my small little contribution to skating, you know, people, you know, notice it and they recognize it. Some of the younger kids come up to me and they're like, oh man, I saw you in this video years ago. You know, and Chuck, we call Chuck the pioneer jokingly because, well, not really jokingly, but I started saying that. And then when we thought about it, he's like, no, that suits, that fits because a lot of the younger kids in Jersey and New York, you know, do a lot of stuff. They're influenced a lot by Chuck, you know, and by me skating like him, it's so funny. I love it because a lot of people, they're like, yo, Little Chuck. They used to call me Little Chuck sometimes and all that stuff. And I loved it, man. I just tell people, they're like, yo, I love your style. Because it's funny because some things I do, I add my dancing and add my own thing to it. But my base stuff is Chuck and his father's style. So people, you know, they see me and they're like, oh, yeah, you're Chuck. I'm like, oh, well, I'm Terry, but that's okay. I'm here. Call me Little Chuck. And then they go, oh, yeah, I see there's some things, you know, yeah. But, you know, we were all tight and everything and all that. But Chuck, he was telling me about the experience. And he told me how they went out on stage and they would rehearse and do these practices. And there's one particular story with this. There's a spin that he does that he kind of, you know, started, and all the younger guys do it now, and they do it easier now because they're all flexible and all this stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, and
some skinny
I used to do it a lot. It's like, yeah, they're young dudes. I mean, thank God I look young. You know, I try to. Anyway, hopefully you guys will agree. You know, hopefully, you know. But I get on the floor. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. No. I'll do some things. But I'll be like, yeah, that knee, no, that bends. My knee doesn't bend like that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But there was a spin, and I called it, because I used to make up all the names for the group. I called it the abracadabra. It's like, it's a squat spin, what we ball up in the spin, and you're on your toes. Mm-hmm. Chuck would put one foot behind his leg and be spinning on one leg real fast, like down in the ball. Mm-hmm. So when they were doing Enchanted, right? There was this one part, and the princess girl was in the middle, and they were on the sides, and they were all the director was thinking of something for them to do or something like that. He said so. They were doing different spins. So Chuck did the abracadabra, and the spin is bad. The spin, I gotta send you a video of the spin. The spin is you curl up in the ball, you're down low, you're on one foot, and you're like. Usually on your toes or the ball of your foot, and you spin it, and then he come up on his toes and finish like Michael Jackson or something like that. So the director was like, Chuck, can you do that? You do that spin again? And he said, and he stopped. He said, okay, everybody, I want you to look at something. Chuck, do that spin again. Chuck. The director said, can everybody do that? And Chuck said in unison, they all said, H to the E, hell no. They were like, I can't do that in my dreams. No, I'm not doing that spin. So they wound up just doing like a regular sit spin coming up. But the experience, man. He said that he worked with all these people. Same thing like Mo said, like Roger G, Skate Master Chuck, who's another Chuck from up here, was really good. Oh man, so many people, a lot of dancers, break dancers. Oh, it was great, man. But I kicked myself because could have still been getting paid. You know, it was Disney. It's like, yeah, I did. One thing. Oh, another guy too. This, I know you guys know who Mike Johnson was. Mike Johnson was incredible dude. And Mike Johnson, I got a lot of things about skating and performing from Mike Johnson and stuff. And he was telling me about Roll Bounce when that first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when they first were casting for it, and he said, you just got to fly out to Chicago. But at the time, I couldn't do it because both of my parents were sick. They passed away in like 01. Like later, both in 01. One in November, one in December. And they both were fighting, battling cancer. So I was taking care of them, and I couldn't go at the time. So I was like, and what's funny? My wife was like, oh, well, she's always, God bless her, I love my wife. But,
you heard that disclaimer.
Yeah, right. Gotta put that in there. We never, us husbands, we never win arguments. Are you guys married by the chance?
No.
Okay, no. I was like, oh. No. Like, one thing with you can't, I can't say this too loud. But, one thing, when you're in an argument, you just got to be like, yes, dear. Yes, dear.
You want to be on that couch.
There you go. Yes, dear. Yeah, that gets you by.
Nowadays, it'd probably be in your car. You probably don't even want you in the house no more. Go sleep in your car.
That's it. That is it. And I tell you, but she's always like, she always got my back and all that. She was like, that movie probably wasn't gonna be anything anyway. It's Roll Bounce. Then I see the movie, I'm like, oh my God.
You thought about that royalty check just once again, huh?
Yes. I'm like, how do I keep this? I don't understand. Even though I did make the extra features. And it's funny when they're talking about, I think they were interviewing Mo, and Mo was talking about the New York style and this and that. And they kept going back and forth and showing clips of me, nice small part. I was like, yes, I know, that was cool. I was just happy to be a part of it. But, Mike Johnson had told me about that. And Mike Johnson was, oh my God. Mike Johnson. Did you guys ever get a chance to meet Mike Johnson?
No.
No,
not
he
yet.
was the smallest giant in the world. Like he was so, like, you would talk to him, he's like, like very extremely humble, but small, like, like small voice for them. Real cool cat. That dude, let me tell you, when that dude got on his skate, first of all, I first met him in a Roxy. Chuck brought me to the Roxy. I went to the Roxy, but he would always do a lot of shows. So he could perform and do what do you call it, sequences and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay. I'm like, all right, wow, I'm watching him. But we went to Empire one night. Let me tell you, and I saw you interview with Eric Austin. Oh, God. Let me tell you, that's the man.
So did you wear the tights when you was in Empire? I mean, in the Roxy?
No. That was a little before. I saw people, and people were so nice on that scale. I said, maybe these tights would make me skate like that.
And like I said, them skinny jeans got them skating like doing them spins.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people who did it, but I would come back. I got a story about that too. I got to talk about everything. But I saw people in Empire with the tights. But I saw Mike. Mike used, one time we was, and everybody Empire was bad. And I've seen Mike do this in like a international or national skate party too. But in Empire, Mike, I just talked to him. Hey, I remember from Empire. I mean, from my Roxy, yeah. And Big Bob was playing. That's Big Bob just kill it, all the time. But Mike was in the middle, and I'm just sitting. Everybody's just Mike hears a song he like. He started getting into it. When I tell you, everybody was stopped watching Little Mike. I was like, oh my God. I mean, he was doing stuff that just didn't make any sense. If you ever saw Little, like, people see him do the routines, but if you ever saw him freestyle to a song, that's, to me, that was like really watching Little Mike skate. He was, oh my God, he was nuts. He was incredible.
I find some YouTube of that.
Yeah, we got to find some YouTube.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because the YouTube, they have a lot of stuff. I hope they have a lot of some things of him freestyling. Because sometimes that's the one thing, you know, I would like to record a whole bunch of stuff, because there's some things and events that happen that were, you know, not recorded. Like back in around that time, back in, I think it was 99, 98, 99, they because what happened was I was part of a couple groups. Well, that before I get to that, they had the 4th of July party used to be a real big national skate party, and it was here in New York and New Jersey. And you went to Branchbrook one night, then you went to the Skate Key, then you went to Empire, then they had the, you know, the foot party, you know, we dress up and all that. And it stopped for a long time over here. It went to other places or whatever. I think they just, for whatever reason, they stopped doing it here. And then I was part of a group called Inner Circle Skaters over here in the Tri-State. And it was Betty, my wife, Jay. It was quite a few of us. Magic. It was a few of us. Myra. Guys, don't kill me if I forget all your names, because we were kind of big.
You only got an hour.
But we it was, and it really was this was like the brainchild of Jay and Stephanie, who were the great friends of mine. They were, you know, at the wedding, and you know, most of these people in the circle, we were all like, you know, family. They were all in the wedding and everything. But it was their brainchild to do a party. And I was like, bet. So I was designated as a PR man. That's for, I don't know why.
I wonder why.
Yeah, right? I don't know why they picked me. But so I, you know, and we did it. We kind of brought back that party. Well, we did bring back that party for a couple of years to the Tri-State, which was great. And then, you know, everybody was like, you know, busy and successful. Like one of the guys in the group, right after I think we did 3 parties, and then he started a restaurant. Jay and Stephanie are like successful business people. They do their business. You know, my job is crazy. I went to the academy at that time. So the group, we're all still cool, but we just, you know, we're like, because as you guys know, throwing a party, a skate party is what?
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
It's rough.
Yeah, so you know, we just left it at that. And then for a while, I think like Bob or somebody had taken over, and you know, but it phased out. And then, but thank God, more parties started to open up. Like you had the party in Chicago, you know, you had other parties. So, and back then it wasn't that many parties.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. So, you know, it was cool. But you say about the tights. I don't, you know.
Did you buy some even though you didn't wear them?
Huh?
Did you buy some even though you didn't wear them?
You might warm them around the house for your wife, you know.
You bought them.
Hey, that you say giving ideas. I might do that. You know, maybe we should get mad and be like, honey, hey, I show her some leg. Look, honey, I got the tights on. Like, you like me now? You know,
probably do a minute tights tonight, baby.
I would say, you know, them tights, man. That's something. I was like, what is she wearing? The first time when I went to the I'm like, okay. And it's funny because the first person I saw wear tights, it was a guy. Now this skater used to cut me and my father's hair. I was about 7 years old, and he was talking about skating then. To, you know, my father always said, oh, he always minded skating. Da, da, da. And then when I got better, you know, when I got about, like I said, 17, 18, I went back. I saw him at an adult night. His name was Ray Reed. Ray Reed was a bad dude. He was a barber ever since I'd known him. And I didn't know he could skate like that. You know, so I saw him in the rink and he had on these tights. I'm like, what is he wearing? And I saw him skate. Now, you know you bad when you got on a t-shirt and some tights, your skill, and you're just skating with every female in the place. I'm like, wait a minute. There's something to this skating thing. There's something, you know, like for instance, when I got decent or whatever, my boy Chuck took me to the Empire. There's another guy here I gotta call out his government. His name is Andre Chin, another skater, the old school skater from New York, and we used to go to Roxy. And this dude used to wear, when I first met this dude, I mean, he was in the gym, he was like buffed out and everything, but he had on this like Voltron spandex outfit on. I was like, what in the what? I mean, you had lions and all this stuff on it, and it was colorful. It was red and blue. So we get in the circle in Roxy, and there's mad people. That dude got in the circle though, and his skills on the skates. Oh, that dude is bad. I mean, to the point he did this whole 3-minute routine. Came out. I could have swore I got hit with panties. Girls just throwing going crazy. I was like, yo. I was like, well, so okay, you gotta show me none of that stuff. You gotta show me that stuff. And I still talk to that guy to this day. You know, a good friend of mine. He's showed me stuff about skating and performing. You know, really great dude. Great dude. But I still haven't put the spandex on skating.
You know, I'm actually starting to notice a pattern here with all the interviews. It seems like all the OG skaters, them spandex.
I know,
It
right?
seems like spandex is what
That will get the girl.
got them. Yes, got them there.
Because why with the spandex, everybody knows it's working.
I wasn't gonna speak on that, but you know,
From a lady's perspective,
I was thinking more of like less friction because the air just flows around your body. With
it flows. It flows. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It flows.
Lord, why we gotta talk about that? So all right. So, oh my goodness. So, what have you been doing lately, as far as in the skate world, post-corona, post all of this?
You know,
pre. I'm sorry, pre. I'm sorry.
I've just been,
and I got coffee, but no food in my system. So I'm hyper, but I'm hungry. So, so how has the skating been out there in New York pre-corona? And then we're actually going to talk a little bit about what you do as far as work-wise, especially with everything going on. So we get to hear from a skater's perspective, but also from a perspective of someone in your field. So
cool.
Let's start with the skating. How has skating been for you lately?
Oh yeah, well, skating pre-corona, before corona was great. We out here, I think we've got almost 5 days a week. My days, I love to go Mondays, Sundays and Mondays. Probably my favorite. Rock out with DJ Arson, DJ Nile. Wow. Then there's also Wednesday nights at Brooklyn Skates. So it's pretty healthy up here. You know, we skate a lot. We have roller jam. And then in the summertime, we have Central Park. I try to skate 2 to 3 times a week with work. And then when I have vacation, I try to go more than that. My wife and I will switch up. If we take our daughter to my mother-in-law's, then we'll skate together. But it's been, skating was pre-corona. Up here, it's like it never really stopped. Never really. I mean, it slowed down, but because back in the day, when you had Skate King Empire in the 70s and 80s, when my brother was skating, well, actually, I had 2 brothers that skated and a sister that skated. It was always big. You had Studio 54 people. I would say that was more dancing, but Roxy, the old Roxy, was like the 54 on skates. You would go there and see Bill Butler rocking out with Cher, Liza Minnelli, all these stars up in there, and they would really skate. They would get down to skate, and it was good. So pre-corona has been great. I would be out there rolling. It was every week. Post, how do you say, during this time, everything. A lot of people still skate outside.
Yeah.
I know people are still in Central Park, but they didn't get I don't think they got the permit. So they're not like, they don't have the big stereo system, but they're out there rolling.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So let's talk about a little bit about your field. So outside of roller skating and outside of your amazing sound effects, because I'm gonna tell you something, your sound effects have me over here rolling. And before we go, I'm gonna need you to do that spin sound effect for me one more time, because my day. Oh man! So tell the skaters what you do.
I'm actually a New York City police officer. Believe it or not. Everybody's like, how can you? They're like, no, stop playing. No.
Yeah.
Like, no. First of all, it was the last thing I wanted to do. Like, I went to school for education, be a teacher. I taught martial arts. I still do teach martial arts. That's my thing. I really want to do that first before anything. I've trained for over 30 years. No, I'm dating myself. I have a 5th degree black belt in Shotokan Karate, 5th degree black belt in Chinese American Kempo, Maccabee, Masada style of martial arts. I also teach capoeira.
Mhm.
I've done capoeira for a little over 20 years. But other than that, yeah, I wanted to be. I also was a bus driver and all that. But long story short, I signed up because I wanted to be a fire. When I moved to the city, I met my wife. I wanted to be either fireman, MTA. I wanted to work for the city.
Mhm.
So I signed up for all 3 of those. Well, that and PD, all 3 of those. PD at the time was hiring anybody with a heartbeat. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to do it.
That wasn't very encouraging.
That's I can say that because that was true. Everybody knows it. Ain't nobody want to do it. People's like, no, I don't want to get paid this little amount of money and go out there and dodge bullets and all that.
Yeah.
So I did ROTC. I was going to write to the military. Most of my family, my father's side, are military. Like I always follow the footsteps of my big brother, Bill Davis, and he was in the military. I said, I'm going to the military, but I did ROTC. And mother said, don't go into ROTC. I mean, don't go into the military, yada, yada, yada. So I wound up not going, but I always had it, in me in martial arts. I said, I could do all this. So, plus I'm a people person. I mean, I guess you can tell. So,
Sorry for my need to be rescued.
going to get my art
okay,
supplies
okay, buddy.
with art kids every art school after you're off the phone.
Okay, buddy, here, come say hi because we don't have a lot of time. Say hi, and then this is the artist.
Hi.
What's
Hey,
happening?
beautiful.
Hi.
This is the artist.
Flowers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lanny. Okay, I'll be
Okay,
right.
I'm
You
going.
got video bomb. Just- Hold on.
You
Sorry.
up in
That
my
does-
room with my flowers and everything. How long you want?
Yeah, right.
You said a few
But-
minutes, Daddy.
I tell you, my bodyguard and my accountant, my wife, you know that. But I tell you that. But yeah, with this job, I got on the job, and my thing was, like some people get on the job, and I don't know, some people they have fear in them or whatever. They're not. For one, like I grew up in the hood, like around the hood, and stuff. So dealing with people, I know how the street works and all that, was never a problem to me. And to me, I'm like, okay, look, I would like people to get their fair shake of things. I mean, if you beat somebody up, stab somebody, this and that, okay, you got to come with me. And most of the time, I explain it to the person. They know what they've done. I never really have a problem with it. Some people, it's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Some people, and I speak individually for every different cop. Every cop, if you don't get the person's respect in an altercation or whatever, the person feels like they're disrespecting you. Like I say, if they feel like I'm disrespecting them, they're going to be volatile and this and that and all that. But depending on how you talk to the person, how you get their respect, never had a problem. And I've been on the streets of New York and the Bronx this is going to be 13 years. Never had what they call a CCRB, a civil servant complaint, or civil citizen's complaint. Never been sued. Never been nothing bad. Has been like thrown against me from the public. Oh, you violated my rights and all that. Nah. I always get, Officer Davis, look, all right, I understand. I did this. All right, you being cool with me. All right, I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to go to jail with you. Just like that. I mean, that be saying
I just put myself.
yeah.
But then that is a true testament of your character, because
Yeah.
if you're treating them the way you want to be treated, then all right, I know I did something wrong. All right,
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead on and do what I'm supposed to do because of the way you treated them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes,
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it too.
Yeah.
So that makes a
Mhm.
difference too. So like you said,
yeah.
respect is everything. So, but with everything going on right now with the riots and everything, how has the tension been?
Oh, tension is crazy. Tension is crazy. Like my sister-in-law is also a cop, and where she's at, she's in Brooklyn. It's all over the city. It's all bad, but There were 2 cops who were like, the one cop, it was 3 cops. One was stabbed, and 2 were shot in the same instance.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, wow. And you know, it's a sad thing. I mean, the tensions are high. They're high. You know, it's like you have the people on the other line, and you have people here, the cops just standing there, and they get into these altercations and fights, and each altercation fight is individual, it's different. You know, it's, you know, it's so many, and there's some things that don't even make the news, a lot of things, because there's so many things that happen, but the tensions overall are right now are bad. They're usually, you know, tight anyway for New York City cops, but you know, now it's just bad. And it's sad because, like, you know, you have, again, every cop is an individual. You do have like some bad apples in every department you have bad apples. But then you have cops like myself who want to go there, help people out, who are, they just want to, you know, get their money, go home and do what they got to do, help people out. And that's it. You know, people who never wanted to, had the enthusiasm. Oh, as a little kid, I want to be a cop and lock people up. Nah, I just, you know, and I think that's when you make the best cop. When you get on the job, like, okay, look, how about everybody want to argue? How about we make a settlement? You do this, you do that, and we're all good. Because that's the way I see it, and it's never steered me wrong. Never. I have no problem walking down the street, people in the community, and I worked in we're like skate. Right now, the precinct I work in is where the skate key used to be, the original skate key.
Okay.
What? Crazy out there. It's crazy, you know, like, you know, that's the real, that's where a lot of the stuff, a lot of the movies and all this stuff, you know, that's where they get a lot of the stuff from. Like, I've done all the stuff you see in the movie. I've chased people with guns, been shot at, all type of stuff, you know. And I have a whole bunch of old stories like that. But then, you know, I've actually, like I said, like, getting people's respect. I've had to fight people and wrestle them to the ground. And because, you know, I, you know, beat them and, disarmed them and got the knife from them and, you know, put them in cuffs. And I roll them over. I'm like, oh, you done? You done? They'd be like, yeah, I'm done. And they'd be like, I respect that, officer. You didn't call a whole bunch of people. You did what you had to do. You know what? I'm going to be cool with you. And you know, I never had a problem. I mean, it's just like, you know, I don't know. I mean,
kind of like
I got 8 more years.
White.
Yeah.
Roller skating. You know what I'm saying? Don't square up. Just lay down and put yourself in the car.
I know, right?
We'll be fine.
I try. And I tell you, I got 8 more years, 7.5. When I'm done, I want to be done. I mean, I thank God I've survived on the streets and all that, and this and that, and did what I had to do. But I don't want to go over 20. I'm good.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Wow.
But I mean, the fact that you're still enthusiastic about going to work and about protecting and serving is just amazing, especially in this climate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
In this climate, with all that you guys are going through.
Yeah.
And today, here in Houston is burial for George Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
You know, I can say one thing, and I can, like I say, I can say this through experience. In my opinion, and every cop has their opinion in this like that. In an instant, I'll say it like this: in an instance like that, no one, all the people I work with and everything. And if you look on social media, a lot of cops, you know, condemn. They definitely will say what happened was wrong. I don't, you know, it's tactically wise and stuff like that. There's a lot to get into it, but I'll say it like this: Cop 101. It's Cop 101. And I've done this. It's something that we learn in our academy. And by me being on the streets and hands-on, I've had to do this. I've had to take people down and fight. And sometimes, I've had, like, in that instance where the person was, you know, where he had him like that, I was in a job and these 2 brothers were fighting. And these dudes is big dudes. You know, when you work like in the Bronx and over here, you got to say the city. Like, I know other cops that skate in Maryland and stuff like that, in Atlanta. You know, a lot of these are big dudes. It's not like you work in Mayberry where it's like some skinny guy, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm boy. Nah, these are some big dudes. These dudes is like my
Whoa.
height, 220, 230. So luckily, at this instance, there was one where they were fighting each other. They were actually two biological brothers. And we got in between them, and the guy happened to be, you know, trying to get to his brother. So he's swinging and flailing and everything. So I took him down. Boom, I took him down. You know, we had to cuff him up. I had to lay him out for when I took him down, I had to lay him out chest first down on the floor, right? It takes you, if you're, I guess, good at what you do, whatever, it took me maybe I don't know, a few seconds to cuff him up.
Mhm.
He's still face down. Cop 101, you roll him over on your side. If the guy has a gun or whatever, I mean, we thought the guy had a gun. So at the time I had to, you know, search him, but he's on his side. He's laying on his arm. You know what I mean? Because when you're face down like that, for one, even if nobody's on top of you, you can't, it's hard to breathe. When you're excited and you're moving around like that, even if you're like an Olympic athlete, it's still kind of hard for you to breathe. It's just the way your arm, it's a physical, how do you say, it's physics, with your arms being back like that and your rib cage is, you roll them over on the side and that's it. Done. That's it. And once the cuffs are on, you're done. That's it. You know, what that guy did, I mean, I tell you one thing, it wouldn't have been me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's you know, it's just sad. But that, you know, that whole thing is a whole thing I have because I had a lot of people when I go travel to other martial arts schools and stuff like that, and just other places when I hang out with different skaters, and they ask me about incidents like that, you know, and where it comes with cops and civilians, and people get hurt, people get killed. And I give them my view, and there's some jobs I can actually explain it, you know, but some of them you can't, because some of them there's just no reason for it. You know?
Yeah. So
It's
on
crazy.
the other side of that, like from the perspective of a police officer, but from the perspective of a citizen, when you see something like that and you know it's wrong, like it is the police. Like what could we do when you see an injustice like that? Because like you had people videotaping it, and you know, like who are you going to call if the police are doing this? Do you call the police? Like you can't advance on them because it is the police, and you have, you know, then they'll shoot you. So what is it that you could do when you see some injustice being done like that? What is it that the civilian could do to try to stop it?
Well, in New York, they have this whole big thing called CCRB, which is a Citizen Complaint Review Board. And it's something that, you know, other cops, you know, there's something that our bosses tell the people to call or do. I mean, and nowadays with the video cameras, I mean, most of the what they're doing is is the best thing they can do to fight citizens. What they can do to see if they think something is wrong, the best thing they can do is, you know, they use their video camera and they videotape. But as far as complaints, like you said, yeah, it's hard to call the police on the police, you know.
Right.
I mean,
Like in the moment, like in the moment you're seeing
what can you do in the
something.
moment?
Yeah, and you know what's wrong. You see someone that's begging for their life, and like, what can I do in that moment to try to stop something that's going on?
That's really tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, because I mean, now that I've seen that, I've heard that happening where people feel that people are, you know, they're in a life-threatening situation, and then they jump in. It's a group of them that jump in, and then it just basically starts a riot. I mean, the sad thing is that it started a riot, but you may have saved that one person.
Yeah.
You know, it's really kind of touch and go with that one. It's tough, but you know, it actually, in a lot of cases, I would say the people are doing good with what they, you know, when they see something. Because like when I work with the people, I don't have a problem, but people who see things happening with cops, whatever, and they don't think it's, you know, kosher, whatever, they pull out the video camera and they start taping and stuff. And, you know, I mean, that's, you know, that's pretty much, they're doing what the citizens are doing what they, really good job now of all of what they're doing, you know. But yeah, it's whew. Like there's another video, and then there's another video. I don't know if it actually, yes, it's a viral video, and it's just sad. It's a sad video, but it happened in New York. See, so some of the videos that happen in New York, I know because I know the people who work there, what happened. Sometimes, and this happens, you have people who take video, and the video Well, in this case, this is not the case. Some people edit videos to make the cops look bad.
Yeah.
And then they wonder, see, nowadays, like all the cops, we have videotape too.
Yeah.
So there are these organizations who, they edit the videos to make the cop look bad. But then when they go to court, the cop has their camera of what really happened. So then what happens is the people are found, in certain cases, are found innocent, and it just makes the community even angrier because they're going by the video that was edited.
Right. Yeah.
So in that case, there's some things that I think that the police department should make more public. They should. That's why they do have community affairs people. Like some things, what I do, I go out and I talk to people and I tell people what happened in that instance. I don't think there's enough of that because, for instance, there's a video that's going viral, and there were two cops and they're wrestling this guy on the ground, and you can see it everywhere. And it's older video, and they're going, they're wrestling, and they're wrestling. Next thing you know, you hear a shot, boom, and they shot the guy. And you see, if you see the whole video, that the cop, there's two cops on one guy and they're wrestling the guy. And the guy is remorseful. He's like, oh, I told you that. Now, that video is going viral and this and that, but what hasn't gone viral is the gun that the guy had that he was trying to get. And I know this for a fact because I've seen the gun. I was behind the scenes. So the people I talk to, I tell them, I'm like, look, no, that guy was there. I can show you the gun. Well, I don't know if they'll let me show you the gun, but I saw it. I would get in trouble. But if I wish I could clear it, and I could clear the video and or whatever, and clear the other parts of the video, because that guy he had a gun. So what happened was he was on the floor and they're trying to grab the gun from him, and his arms are enclosed because he was trying to shoot them. So if he would have got his gun and you would have heard the shot, he would have shot the cops first. And these guys were like, they're like young guys. They're, young, minorities. I think they were Spanish. One was Spanish, one was black. And they didn't want to, they weren't trying to kill this guy. They were just trying to, I think they live in the area, or they live in New York City. So they weren't trying to hurt this guy. They were trying to get the gun, that was it. But at the same time, if you're from the street, and this guy has a gun, he's going to shoot you. So look, you got to stop him. You know what I mean? Like the bottom line is, I'm going home. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like, I'm a nice guy, but I'm from the street. Like, look, you got the gun, you try to kill me. So they got the gun or whatever. I don't know if they shot him with his own gun. No. I think the guy, I don't remember. I have to look at it again now. But bottom line is, there was a gun. They weren't trying to kill this guy. They were trying to get the gun from him. And if you think about it, it would have been very easy. The struggle lasted for almost a minute or two. If you wanted to kill the guy, you just could have pulled your gun and shot him. It would have been less than a minute. So, I say that's one thing, one of the videos I can comment on, and everybody watches this. It looks sad and it is a bad instance, but that's really what happened in that instance. The guy had a gun and he was trying to go for it, and I've
so
been
a lot
there.
So a lot of times we don't see all the facts because, like you said, they're edited. Because they want to make it seem like, well, like you said, there are some bad apples out there. And there are some good ones, and unfortunately, sometimes the good ones become the victim. So, and
there's a lot of law enforcement that roller skate. That's another thing I want to get to too. There's a lot of law enforcement that roller skate. And
I was actually saying that we actually have two twin brothers here. They're officers, and they actually skate.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got to meet them. I get down there.
They kind of disappeared off the scene, but they, they're skaters.
And there's a few skaters. I'll let them tell you who they are and stuff. But I want to give shout outs. So I'm like, it's kind of touchy that I think most of the skaters know. The ones that I know, they know. But I'll let them come on or they tell you. But they're great people. And they skate, they came up skating, under me or the same age group and stuff like that, and they're cops, and they don't have any problems with people. Because I think it's a certain, like you say, certain type of person. Not everybody's bad. A lot of times we do this, and what I always tell some of the people, and I know it's tough. I tell some of the young kids, like, if you don't like what you've seen in the street growing up with law enforcement kids and as kids, and one thing you can do is, it's tough, but if you become what you, if you become a cop, or you become somebody influential in the community, you change what you didn't see growing up. You
Yeah.
know, if you're in a position that you saw some cop doing something crazy when you were a kid on the street, now you become a cop, you see the same another instance like that happening, then you change it, you handle it differently, and you educate the people. That's the one thing I'll say. A lot of people don't know New York City Police Department is the most diverse department in the world. Like, you have people, you have Black, white, Spanish, Arabic, Indian, Egyptian, Chinese, Japanese. Every language is spoken. And two friends, and their bosses, like real high ups, like chiefs. You have African American chiefs, Spanish chiefs, Irish American chiefs. It's all mixed up, you know. So that's something too. Now I know people in the media, so I mean, like, the media makes their money by things that sell. I understand that, you know.
Of course.
But you know, that's just the bottom line. Hey, I can't, you know, whatever. But that, you know, when you really get into it, you come up here and meet New York City cops. I know a sergeant that's got long dreadlocks past his waist. You know, I know a guy who's an Hasidic Jewish person with the curls and the yarmulke. A couple of my buddies are lieutenants. They're Chinese. They speak like 2-3 different dialects of Chinese. Excuse me, a buddy of mine, she's Sikh, like Sikh Indian. She's the first female Sikh lieutenant. You know, so it's very diverse. It's and that's good. You know, you understand different things. But but as far as skating, there's a guy I know who retired. His first name is David. He retired, and I met him in the Roxy. This dude is doing windmills on skates. I'm like, wow. And then we started talking. He's like, hey, yo. And this is actually before, when I met him, I wasn't a cop then. And then later on I saw him, he goes, yo, I heard you were a cop. He's like, yo, I worked here, this is that. And I'm like, wow. You know, you never know who you see skating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. You never know.
Yeah, because we have a wide range of professions in the skate community.
Oh, yeah. That's like, I think I'll tell you guys about this before. I got to mention it again. There's a guy that has 5 personalities who skates in Central Park. He's like a multi-millionaire. And he's on 60 Minutes. And if somebody can look that up and find, I don't remember the name of the episode, whatever, but the dude balances water on his head. Tall white guy in shape, he can skate, balances that water on his head. And everybody's like, wow. And he was on 60 Minutes, and he said his other personalities don't know that personality skates. Oh, incredible.
Wow.
That is.
Yeah, we got to find that one.
So that's the dominant personality.
Yeah, skating, right?
Which one's the millionaire, though? I mean,
I know,
do
right?
the other ones know they got money?
I know. But the other was just sleeping on the bench. Like, can we go home now?
Yeah. And that's like, you know, like another thing too, I guess, before I forget, some people I don't remember their names. That's popular with skating. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah. You meet so many people. No, I was saying because you meet so many people.
Yep.
You know, skate.
Like that guy, we just call him Hydro Man because I couldn't think of his name. And then we had there's a guy. So I'll tell you something. You go to, like I said before, you come to Central Park, and it's on and popping. And they got the circle going, and you know, they play music, live DJs. Arson's been out there, Big Bob's been out there, Misbehavior, countless DJs, and it's live. But when you and it's skating, you think skating, but it's nothing like Central Park because of the characters you will see. That's a disclaimer. I can say this because I skated there and this and that. When you go to Central Park, there used to be a guy there. I used to call him Rainbow Beard. He was a older guy. He pushed a baby carriage. He had a parrot, and he had a beard, and it had all different colors in the beard. And he wore a white wedding dress with white tennis shoes. I know this sounds crazy.
Oh, wow.
But it's the truth. It was a dude out there. He used to, very flamboyant dude, and he used to wear this pink shirt, and he used to always have it tucked up like a vampire. You know how Dracula? And dude was bad. I used to call him Count Pincula.
Count Pincula.
I was like, yo, but yeah, the characters you will see in Central Park, I love them all, love to death, and I could, you know, I tell you, man. Just like there was Huh?
We have
Oh,
to
you got to
make
make
it
it this year?
there. Yes.
Yeah, me too. I got to come down to Texas. I got to come down to Texas. That's just like there's a lady. She passed away, and her name was Sheila Hemingsworth, I believe. And her husband, I can't remember his name, but I called both of them. If you ever watched The Matrix, I call her the Oracle and him the architect of the Space
Yeah.
Matrix.
Mhm.
Because when I met them the first time, they knew who I was and who all my friends were, and I didn't know their name. They're like,
Oh,
Terry,
wow.
how you doing? Yeah, you skate with Chuck. You learned from Chuck and his dad, and da-da-da-da-da. And Eddie was your friend. I'm like, whoa, this is scary.
Did you take the red or the blue pill?
I was gonna take both of them. I need a double.
Go ahead and mix them.
Yeah, I was in shock. I'm like, yeah, who? And come to find out what it was, is she was, avid skater. She was a great skater, and knew everybody. When she was a lawyer, now
Oh.
she was a lawyer for Donald Trump.
Oh.
Yeah, and see, back in the day, this is before Trump. Trump was always crazy. Trump, I didn't tell my God,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother show. Trump, oh
It
my
was
God.
inbred.
Oh yeah, I can't. Oh my God! But this is back before, way before he ran for president. But he was, business guy, whatever. She was a lawyer for him, and he was fixing up a lot of things around the city. So they fixed up Wallman Rink, and basically what happened was he fixed it, and whatever, for whatever reason, he was like, oh, I can't do it anymore with it, whatever. He said, Sheila, you take it, do whatever you want with it. Basically, that's what happened, and she brought the skaters into Wallman Rink. It's just probably more to it, but that's just the basics that I know. And that's before I was really rolling. Like, people were there. You can see it on YouTube though. Like you see like Eric Austin, all these people, and it was a beautiful outdoor rink. I watched it the other day, and you see her, and you see you actually see Will. Eric Austin mentioned Will.
Okay, yeah.
It's like Will, you need a whole nother show for Will. But I can tell you one thing. I called him, me and my wife called him Mean Will. And for Will, he was very unapproachable. But if you got to know him and you were cool with him, he was your friend till the end, like Chucky. He was your friend to the end. Because now I knew him from Chuck. And Chuck introduced me to him, Chuck Goins, and he was cool with me since then. He was like, all right, you stay with Chuck, all right, you cool, just like that. But I'll tell you how my wife met him was because my wife, she's, like I said before, she kind of won my heart with skating because she outskated a lot of other girls. Because she like I said, one time I said before, if you skate, you get in there, you're good. The women are like, all around. So it was just, she outskated a whole bunch of chicks, and she was like, all right, you're mine. That's how it happened. She's bad.
Okay. Like, you ain't had nothing to do with that.
And like, she slowed up, she slowed up, but she still skates and, get that. Now that our daughter's getting older, she's, getting back to skating more, but she skates fast from the outside. She's a Bronx skater, fast from the outside. So she was skating one time and bumped into Will or something. And Will looked at her like, and kept skating. And then Will bumped into her. And let me tell you, my wife is from East New York. East New York is, that was back in the day where they had all these crazy gang boys. East New York that's where Mike Tyson is from.
Okay.
Brownsville, East New York. So, and she got this little voice. She's like, me, my wife. So then he pushed her, and she, and that, and she had this huge argument in the middle.
Square up.
Oh yeah. I thought they were, and I wasn't even there. I thought they were gonna fight this and that, but then after that, he was like, "Oh, I thought you went this way," and she was like, "I thought you had to go that way," and this and that, and they started talking, and ever since then, Will was like big brother. He always, always was cool with her, and we always, whenever we saw Will, he was a great dude. He was an incredible skater, incredible skater, man. But he passed away a few years ago too. Had a form of cancer, which is sad, but it's I gotta tell you, I can't wait to get back to skating.
Oh yeah, we bet. So before we get out of here, so what's next for you?
It's funny. Yeah, I thought about this the last time. Before I skated, even before I skated, I did I did like a little modeling thing and all this and that. And I love entertainment. I love like acting and stuff like that. I actually have a credit. I did do a little B movie,
Hmm.
and it was in Blockbuster. Date myself.
Blockbuster. Oh, you didn't get no residuals in.
Yeah.
You didn't get that
Damn,
residuals.
bankroll.
It's not like that
Title of
Disney
the-
movie.
What was the title of your movie?
Uh,
The title.
yeah.
No.
You just laughing.
Well, I can't hear you. Say again.
Oh, what was the name of the
title
movie?
of the movie?
Oh, Moving Target.
Moving
Target.
Moving
Target.
Target.
Okay,
In
look this
fact, what
up.
I'll do is I'll try to send you. I have a video on my phone, and I'll send it to
Oh,
you.
Yeah,
okay.
send it to
Okay.
us.
You guys can
I'm
check
gonna
it out.
find this. This is what I need.
Yeah. I'm gonna send that to you. Oh yeah. And I want to get back into that. Oh, excuse me. Talking so much, I'm choking myself. Yeah, definitely want to get back into that.
Okay.
And you know, it's funny. Probably when I retire, I'm gonna really put more effort into it and really into it. I want to get back into that. And I want to travel a bit more again with the skating parties. Like I've only done, see back then when it was only a few back then.
Yeah.
And then all these other ones are really huge. So like I was saying, I stopped for a long time before. And right before, it's funny, right before I stopped is when I met, I won't say stop, but right when it was only 1 or 2 parties a year. And I think it was 90 something is when we went to the party. The first time I went to, oh my goodness, over here in Empire, and they had a party, the national party. And I believe that's when I first met like Ice from Philly, who is the man. You guys know Ice. Ice,
Oh,
Ice.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Mhm.
I mean, oh my God. And his crew was the Wizards, the Philly Wizards on Wheels. Oh, and that's a whole nother show. Like Tex. It's called Uncle Tex. And everybody, man, Tex could spin for an entire record. I've seen it. I've seen him do a sit spin for an entire record. I'm like, yo, and Tex was taller than me. And his smile, you got, oh my God. There's some videos of Tex online. Tex was the man. But, Ice does stuff, like I said before, he's, older than me and does stuff that I can't do. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it. So, Tex, Ice is incredible. But, I want to get back to that. I want to get back to the acting and stuff and this and that. And, before I forget, say another, I'm kicking myself too. In 98, there was, I was doing capoeira on and off. I started capoeira really like officially in 94. And what happened was I was working for UPS going to school. My instructor at the time, he was he was a professor, an instructor, just like what I am now, instructor, pretty much that level. I forget which one he was then. His name is Caxias. Great martial artist, capoeirista. There was a guy named Jalone. Mr. Jalone is one of the forefathers of capoeira in the United States. He's actually the father of capoeira. He pretty much is credited introducing capoeira to the United States. He trained Wesley Snipes for a while.
Oh.
When Blade came out, Wesley Snipes did a promotion for Blade. Now he did it in New York City because Wesley Snipes, frequent in New York. Man, he invited Jalone. Jalone, I think, it's my opinion, a lot of the capoeiristas or Brazilian, capoeira martial artists, they had their own thing, so they weren't really exactly knowledgeable of how big American martial arts were. So Jalone invited a few people. He invited whatever. I forgot how it worked. But when I looked on the stage, it was Jalone and only about 4 or 5 other people. Every other group had hundreds or 30, 40 people. Man, it was called Masters of the Martial. Wesley Snipes presents Masters of the Martial Arts.
Wow.
If I would have went to I heard about the thing, but I was like, I'm not going to go. It's a regular demo. I'm going to go to work. My mother recorded that. Then when I got home, I watched that thing. I wanted to cry. So like, yo, on that stage. Let me tell you, I could have died that night. So if I would have did that thing, I could have died and been happy. On that stage. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with a lot of the martial arts people, but people who know. Or I would have met and talked to and performed with Ron Van Cleef, the Black Dragon, Cynthia Rothrock, Don Wilson, Shaka Zulu,
I haven't seen all their movies. I seen a whole bunch of their movies.
And Terry Davis could have been on that
Featuring
platform.
Terry Davis.
I know.
Damn, I would have been. I would have. Oh my God! I would have been introduced. They'd have been like, because Star Jones introduced Message Alone, and she was like, "Message Alone" and Capoeira. I would have been right there like this. No, and I would have been,
But
actually.
instead, you went to
Yep. Yep.
That's another one. So I'm just like, why?
Well, we need you to start paying attention, brother.
Yes.
We need.
They won't.
Yeah, stay woke.
Yeah, man. I got to do it.
Oh,
I got to do that, and I got to come down to Texas because
yeah.
my buddy Hashtinia lives in Texas, and I got to come visit him and visit the Capoeira community down there. Mostly him, because that's one of my brothers, and him and a guy named Gunga Zumba and Gunga. I know you guys like, what are you talking about? Let me just do a little appreciation.
No, you say you want to visit
like,
your brothers. I got you. That's okay. Once you finish, the rink is gonna be right over here.
Yeah, that's it. See, when you start capoeira, when you do capoeira and you're in there, you get a nickname. Because years ago in Brazil it was outlawed. So if you were caught, you couldn't give your real name.
Okay.
So they would give you a nickname depending on your personality and stuff. Like my nickname in English is Smiley because I smile a lot or whatever. In Portuguese is Sorriso. It means like the smile. So it's they're all like little nicknames. So that's one artist, African Brazilian martial art. And what it is you speak. It's different every martial art because to a certain when you get to a certain level, you pretty much should be fluent in Portuguese. Like I write songs in Portuguese, I sing and play instruments in Portuguese. So I'm pretty good. I'm about 50, 75%. I'm conversatable, is that the word? But I'm not really fluent. Like I can say things. Like good morning is like bom dia. Like if I ask you guys how you doing, I would say, como você vai? Tudo bem? Tudo bem? So.
Nice. All right now.
Nice.
And then living in the Bronx, I have to speak Spanish. I love Spanish. Spanish was one of my first languages that I practice. Mm-hmm. I'm conversatable, not fluent. There's a lot of different dialects too, but like hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo bien? It's similar.
So how can the skaters get in touch with you?
I would say the easiest way is Facebook, I think, and email. My email is terrydavis87@gmail.com. But I would say I get so many hits on Facebook. I'd say Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people call. You can call me. A lot of people who skate have my number, like my boy, like Josh, like Batman, who's that's my dude. That's I watched that interview too. That's my dude. And I tell you before I forget, the last thing I went over there. When I stopped skating, I told you guys this before, and I stopped skating, and I stopped skating, I stopped partying and doing the skate parties and working. When I got back into it, graduated the academy, blah, 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 I got steady hours, went to North Carolina, and I hadn't done a party in like, oh my God, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it was. And I saw these kids doing this incredible stuff. I'm like, oh my God. And, I'm heavier, I'm skating, I get in there, but I do my thing, do my thing. And they were like, whoa, okay. So I do my thing. And then I saw Josh do this move. And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. I was like, yo. And I went up to him and I said, yo, man. I said, hey, my name is Terry. I love that move. He said, and he looked at me and he said, I know who you are. We all know who you are. I was like, okay. I was like, oh, thanks. And then, of course, I told that to my wife, what she did. Oh, yeah. And then your head just went. I was like, oh, I was like, not that, but I just, I felt good. It made me feel good. I felt, like, like people remembered me and liked me, which is good. Because some people, right. Some people remember for bad things, hopefully I'm no angel, but people remember me for good things, hopefully.
Well, we greatly appreciate you, taking the time to speak with us again. And definitely appreciate, what you're doing for the community, not only for the skate community, but also for the community in New York, so forth, especially during this time. And for those of y'all who are listening, you learned a couple things. First off, don't mess with the skater who's from a group called the Four Horsemen, because that's already a negative sign right there, because he will take you down and speak to you in Portuguese and do sound effects at the same time. So,
And shout out to my Virginia guys. There was, when I stopped, there was some guys in Virginia, oh my God, Jet and Jit and a couple guys, and they actually took on the name Four Horsemen. A couple of them from down there when we stopped.
That's interesting, because we actually spoke with him.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he didn't tell us that. That's
He didn't
interesting.
He probably forgot. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
But yeah,
We're gonna have
I'm like a
about that,
dinosaur. I
Jimmy.
remember all this stuff.
So again, we greatly appreciate you. Be safe out there. To everyone who is listening, as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening.
Yeah.
And until next time, we will see you on the wood.